Evening everybody, and what a lovely evening it is. About time the rain stopped, so great stuff. This is a bit of an update for the post 300 mile first part of the running period. As you can see, we've gone well past the 300 miles now, and that was half throttle roughly, 30 to 40 miles per hour max, basically taking it easy for that first 300 miles. There has been a couple of things that I've had sorted now at the first service. Some I've done myself. We'll go on to them if I can remember everything. First up, the headlight. Now it's only a H4 at a guess. That's 55, 65 watt. All my vehicles, apart from Helen, my Series 2A Land Rover, have got the same bulbing. All the bikes have got the same bulbing, and this is the best of the lot. It's well set up and it's really good for what is a basic, let's be honest now, old-fashioned bulb. I said previously that I didn't like the position of the mirrors, especially the left one, far too close to the bar here. Now what I've done, I've moved it forward a fair amount really. This gives us more room here. What I was finding is that when you take your hand off the bar and put it back, it was very easy to clonk the mirror. Now it's not perfect, because ideally I could do with some more adjustment to push the mirror over that way, but it's a lot less irritating than having to keep adjusting the mirror when I clonk it. Similarly for the other side, I've moved that one a little bit further forward, but there's more adjustment on that mirror, largely because it's a different shaped stalk than the left hand one. Of course all these are personal. If you was a different height you probably wouldn't have the same issues, or you might have more of them. If issues is the word, that's a bit over the top really. Anyway, one of the other things is this personal, the clutch lever position. As purchased it was level, which means you have to sort of go up and over to get onto the lever. What I've done, I've pushed it down very slightly. You can't move it that much because of the switches in the way here, but pushed it down slightly, so now it's just a straightforward, put your fingers out, grab hold of the lever. Talking of the clutch, one of the issues, if you like, that has been lessened, the clutch cable here is quite an acute angle. It's almost a kink really. I've had that softened a little at the first service, but ideally it could do with either a reinforcing bit of metal tube like you see on some clutch cables there, or perhaps one that's just a fraction longer. The other cable related issue was the throttle cable, and this was the one really that was, well, I wouldn't say it was a major issue. It didn't pick up that much, and by pick up I mean when you went full right lock, left in this angle, the throttle speed picked up a bit, and you could see that the throttle cable was moving, which it will move, but it's been sorted at the first service and it was found to be catching on another cable. It's been slightly rerouted, so it has a little bit more play. This was the most glaringly obvious thing that needed doing. This indicator was pointing up to the sky a fair amount. Not right up, but certainly not level. I've done that myself. Undo the nut there, and it's a bit awkward because obviously this is bendy. Hold it in position, tighten it up, sorted. Shouldn't have to do it though. It was pretty obvious, but again, like to be honest, you can't say everything's brilliant when it's not. And whilst this is nothing major, it ought to be right in the first place at the factory. She's lovely to ride. I've even done a bit of cleaning on her the last couple of days, mainly the back end, but she did get wet the other day, quite wet, and whilst I don't mind getting wet myself if I'm caught out in the rain, I don't like cleaning them. Now don't tell the other two Royal Enfields, will you, but out the three she's the most comfortable on the bottom. A nice spot to do a bit of an update chat, and as we've seen she will do mild green roading as long as it's dry really with these tyres, although they are better than I thought they'd be. The more I look at them, the more potential I think they've got. But of course, as I said before, she's not a full-on trials bike. She's a Bullet Classic with a little bit of thought into it, to be honest. More travel on the rear, apparently stiffer on the front, I've already mentioned that of course, but for this sort of thing, dry, a little bit rough, it's hardly anything really, but just take your time, look where you're going. As you can see, there's nothing to it really, but it's a little bit more rough behind the camera, and a bit of a climb, but first gear, just take it easy. And of course the torque is great. You just plod along, which is what she's all about really. Not the quietest spot to do this, folks, but the main road is only about 400 yards away as the crow flies. Anyway, within the first 300 miles I have managed to do an economy check, and that is 97 miles to the gallon. That's at only, of course, speeds of 30 to 40 miles an hour. A bit of dual carriageway, mostly commuting and pottering around. I have tried standing on the foot pegs again, but really they're too far forward. Not that you really have to do it very often anyway, green roading. And the tank, as you can see, is rather wide. And going back to the cleaning, you may have seen earlier in the video that I've got a bit of a mark on my head, and that's because the exhaust gets very, very, very hot, presumably hotter than normal because it's got the cat in as well, and it's a bit sore. Well folks, it's going dark now, so I'll leave it there for this one. The next stage in the running in is the final stage of 2, which is up to 1250 miles. Now that's at up to 50 miles an hour at 3/4 throttle max. Of course, it's a bit awkward to work out exactly where you are with the throttle unless you're fully off or fully open. Anyway, that's it for now. See you again soon.